Hi, I'm Kelly from Jones Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this cute ring. I've put a list of everything you'll need in the description below, along with all my usual links. We've got Facebook, Instagram and Etsy, where I sell all my written tutorials if anyone is interested in having a nosy at those. To make this ring you'll need 0.8mm wire, that's 20 gauge, and I've got two lengths at 8 inches, that's 21 centimetres. You'll need 0.315mm weaving wire, that's 28 gauge, and I've wound mine onto a bobbin. This is a Bobeeze bobbin by Beadsmith. You just wind your wire around it, and then you can work with a longer length, and then that sits down by your side so you haven't got your wire flailing about while you're working. So it is handy to use. You'll need a little bead for this one. Mine's a little 4mm. So yeah, little bead, and we've got tools, pliers, round nose pliers, cutters, nylon pliers. I use these for straightening the wires. If you don't have these, don't worry. But they're only cheap. They don't actually cost as much as the Tronex. These are actually quite cheap. What are these? So these are Prestige. These are really good ones. This just takes the wear out of your fingers. Like if you're trying to straighten the wire with your fingers can get tired. So I just love having these handy. But they're not important if you don't have these, don't worry. And all my other tools are Tronex. I bought these originally because I wanted something that would last. So I went for the more expensive ones, and they have lasted, so I feel like I've saved money in the long run because I was really getting through loads of pliers. I think I'm quite heavy-handed. Oh, and before I carry on, all my wire that I use is always soft. So in the UK we say soft, in the US you say dead soft. I never go for hard, half hard, anything like that. Always go for soft wire, always. And I buy my wire, because I'm in the UK, I buy my wire from Metal Clays for You, and I get my weaving wire from Scientific Wires. So I'm going to try and show you how I work out roughly what I'm doing, and then you can work it out roughly for what you're doing, and then we'll go from there. If you take the end of your weaving wire, choose the size on your mandrel that you're going to do, say it's a 5. And we're going to wrap around the size 5. So it comes to here. Whoop. So that roughly is the length of my weave. So I can aim for that, and then I can add or take later on, but it just gives me a rough size, and that is about 2 inches. So this is all very rough, and we can, obviously it's just a starter. So then we need to, on our base wires, we need to put these 2 inches central on the wires. So we've got 2 inches centrally. We need 3 inches before and 3 inches afterwards. So roughly for size 5, we're going to start at the 3-inch point. I mean, you could start there anyway, and then we'll guess the weave in a minute and work it out. So you can either work that out, or we can all just start at 3 inches. As long as your weave isn't too tight, you can shuffle it along a little bit. But I have allowed for quite a bit of wire to work with, so we should be all right for most sizes, I think. But we'll start at that 3-inch mark. So take your weaving wire, and we'll wrap a few times around that bottom wire just to attach. Alright then, and the weave we're going to do is, we'll go twice around both wires, come up between the two, and we'll go around the top wire and then around the bottom wire. And that's our weave. So we keep repeating that around both wires twice. Come up between the two, over the top, and under and around the bottom wire. And you need to repeat that for the 2 inches or whatever length, and then we'll get it around the mandrel and have a look if we need to add more. So here I've just carried on weaving. I mean, I'm sat here editing the video now, and I just wanted to show you how slowly I work. So many people ask me, how do you do this, how do you do that? And I think the main thing that we're all missing is you just got to take your time. You got to slow right down. You got to watch every wrap taking shape, and it'll be a lot tidier. You'll enjoy it a lot more. It's a lot less painful on your hands. You just take it slow. Just really just sit back and just take it slow. It's a lot more enjoyable, and your work will look a lot better afterwards. Keep pushing your weaves together as you go. Keep adjusting your wires, and just stop and have a look at it and see how it looks, see how you feel about it as you're working. And please mention me, a Kelly Jones Design, when you're sharing your work online. Feel free to sell the jewellery that you make from my tutorials, and please don't show images of the back, as that gives all my little secrets away. So thanks everybody, thanks for watching this video everyone, thank you. So we always have people ask me, when you're weaving, how do you keep your wires nice and straight? Now I know it comes with practice and with time, but I'm sure there's little things that we do as we get a little bit more used to holding the wires that we didn't do at the beginning. And I've just noticed as I'm working, if you hold the weave here as you're weaving, you continually keep bending your wires. This hand needs to follow you along the weave. So the further you go, bring your grip along to follow. So as you're weaving, you're always holding the wires right next to where you're weaving, and then you're less likely to bend your wires. I just noticed that I do that, so I thought I'd share because so many of you have asked. So I've done those 2 inches, well I've done a little bit more because I got carried away. I've done a little bit more than the 2 inches. And it's got to be like pretty central on those wires. So when you're happy with your weave, grab your mandrel and we're going to wrap it around so find the size that you want and make sure you've got the, because the weave looks different on the back. I mean, if you prefer that, because that is actually really pretty, it's like ziggy-zaggy. If you prefer that, then you can have that to the front. Or you can have this side that I originally planned and wrap it around the mandrel. And something I haven't taken into account is I'm going to need a gap between the weaves for my bead. So I need to take off about 5 or 6 mil of that weave there. So I'll just undo that end a little bit. Next, take your tail end. We're going to cut that. Flatten down that little cut end. We're going to take the inner wire. We're going to bring it straight up. And we're going to take the inner wire of the other two. I'm holding it here first so I don't misshape the actual band. We're going to take that up too. And then we're going to take the weaving wire and we're going to add coils to this top wire here. So just take your weaving wire and we're just going to coil around and around that top wire. So I've done a little bit more than I need because it's easier to just wind it undone than it is to try and get it on nice and tidy. And I'm going to bend this wire up a little bit out the way, just up. So that's what we have so far. So take this bottom bare wire, and we're going to take it up so it's gone between the two wires on the other side there. And you're going to pop your bead on there. Hold on a sec. Little tiger eye has got a flash on there. We have to make sure that's at the front. So where the bead wire goes between those other two, pull it nice and tight so that your bead is in that gap. That's why I bent that wire up a little bit more, because I didn't want it adjust in the ring size, because I got a wire sticking out. And then we're going to take that bead wire around. So I'm bending it right the way around, right to the tip. And then I'm going to take that around and through the middle. Again, you're going to have to reposition as you pull it around so it's the right size. Now you've got your bead on, you can recheck and reshape the band if it's misshaped back on your mandrel to make sure it's the size that you want. Luckily it is. A lot of the time, especially when I'm making rings, they do keep changing sizes. So next we're going to take this wire here on this side, and I'm going to shape it to go around. Into quite a tight little loop there, so it goes around to the other side. I'll leave that over there for now. I'm going to take the coiled wire. I'm going to shape that around, but as I do, I'm going to move that coil, so you've got to keep pushing it back down. And I want that to come around to this side. So you need to add or take coils until your coils reach to here, because at this point we're going to send the wire around the band. So I'm just going to add a couple of more of those on there so I can press it together, and then I'll cut that little weaving wire. And holding that in place there, I'll send that around the band. Holding it in place, it's moved totally. So our coiled wire has gone round and it's come through, and now it's a bare wire. We have straightened it a little bit. So now I'm going to bring it over the front, and I'm going to have it come around and follow this bare wire. So I want it to be the same shape, so I'm going to scoop it a bit. I'm just leaning into it with my nail to shape it around. I'm going to bring those wires together a little. So we've got these two wires coming over here, which is kind of three. We've got three wires over here. And we've got this one coming up here. So this one, I'm going to scoop around to follow the shape underneath. But I don't want to cover all this on this side. I really like the shaping of these wires, so I'm going to post it through the middle there. So I'm going to pull it back a bit, and then I'm going to shape it and bring the end through the gap above the bead there. And I'm going to wriggle that through. And hopefully it'll still have my shape that I put on the other side. The next part I do a little bit wrong. So I'm going to tell you to take that wire to the back, and I don't want it going to the back. You want to just take it around the bead and follow the other wires with it. So go around the bead, follow the bead, and bring the wire down in front of the other wires, which is where my wire ends up shortly. So that wire is now going to come over this side as well, and I want it nice and tight around that bead, and then it'll go under the band on this side, and I shall finish that wire around the band. Try not to spike myself with the wires. So I did another ring recently, and I love doing these little bead rings. I'm really trying to get it not to look like that one, because instinctively I keep doing the same things. It is quite hard to change a routine, to change a habit. So I'm going to push that down over the bead a little bit. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to finish this wire now. I'm going to just cut it and bend it over there, so it ends, oops, on the front. Squeeze it around the band and then kind of wiggle it that way a little bit. I could do with finishing that wire too, so they all come together there. I really like how that's turned out. And there you can see where all the three wires now sit together at the front. I think I'm going to try bringing this wire around and then shape it here at the end to follow that shape. So I want it quite flat at the front. And then I want it to come around and follow that shape at the end. Do you know what I mean? Does that add or take away? I I think I'm going to keep it. So I'm going to finish that wire here. So I'm going to bend it around the band, again holding the front in place the best you can. Really need to cut my nails down a bit. And we're going to finish that wire across the front there and try and tuck it behind the best we can. Is that going to work? And then these wires are just going to finish here around this side together. I want to thank you all for your continued support over on Etsy. I've been getting some fantastic reviews and everyone seems to be loving the tutorials, and I'm really grateful for every time you buy something. It really makes me happy because everybody knows times are tough at the moment. So I want these wires to finish behind that, so I'm going to really wriggle them across. So I'm going to pull them across at the bottom, so we're exaggerating that shape. And then I'm going to send them back a little bit and try and finish them behind there, she says. I hope. So I'm gonna go and fiddle and try and hide those around the back of there. So I've just noticed this wire that I sent around and I posted through, it's gone round the front. I like it being at the front. I just wish I hadn't have told you to post it at the back. So during the video, I will write across the screen, not to post it through and just to send it around. Because I really like how that's shaped around the bead. Just noticed that and I had to go back through the videos to see where it moved. So make sure you keep trying it on your mandrel as you go to make sure that you keep the size, and it also helps with shaping the band, because we've only got 2 wires on the band. It's a little bit bendy and you can misshape it, especially if you're as heavy-handed as I am. So there we have it, finished. I've oxidised mine. If you'd like help oxidising yours, I did a video on oxidising and aftercare. Well, I've done a few. I'll put a link or links in the description below. So thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now. Bye.